What's going on, y'all, and welcome to the Mad Max Moto YouTube channel. Wanted to start off this video by giving you all a little tour of the bike, showing you around, talking about some of the modifications that I've made, and then I'm going to finish it off with some exhaust sound and a little bit of some riding clips just to get y'all acquainted. This is my 2020 Triumph Bobber Black. I picked it up last year in January. I've put about just over 3,500 miles on it so far. I love this bike. It's absolutely fantastic. One of the best things I've ever ridden. I've owned 4 bikes in my life. This by far the favorite I've ever had. Triumph has done an absolutely fantastic job with this bike. There's really nothing I can say that I don't like about this bike. Maybe one thing, the fuel tank capacity is a bit small on this one. Just around 2 gallons. Gets me just under 100 miles to the tank. But I mean, it's not meant to be like a cruiser. It's a city bike. You ride around, you throw it around the curves, you just have fun. With this engine, the 1200 puts out amazing power, plenty of torque. The horsepower figure is around 78 if I'm not mistaken, and that is just the sweet spot right here for this bike, for the size, for the weight, for what you want to do with it. And I mean, look at that styling. It is gorgeous. I don't think there's a bike on the market right now that looks as good as this bike. I mean, obviously I'm biased because this is my bike, but I just can't think of much else out there that stands up to it. I mean, look at that single shock hidden under the seat back there. The swing arm, kind of designed to make it look like it's a hardtail, but it rides beautifully. Some say, you know, it's a bit harsh on the suspension, but from my experience, from what I've done with it, it feels great. You know, some bumps I gotta stand up on so I don't get launched out of the seat, but that's just par for the course, I would say. I mean, you gotta take the good with the bad. Like I said, there's not much bad, and this bike has just been a dream to own. Let me start off by talking about some of the modifications that I've made to this bike. First thing I did was I swapped out the catalytic converter with an X pipe. I believe that's from Motone. Then I followed that up by replacing the original exhaust with this British Customs turnout exhaust. So essentially this bike is straight piped, and I love the sound that this bike makes. Next thing I did, I replaced the original rear taillight assembly. I didn't like the way it looked. It was a bit too big. I kind of like this bit more cleaned up look here with just the wheel and the fender on it. I replaced that taillight assembly with this under seat mount. It's called a tail tidy, and I believe it's from New Rage Cycles. This modification was a bit tricky to install, and I did have an issue with the wiring where they had reversed the wiring from the factory, so when I blinked right, it blinked left, and vice versa. Now, the good thing is that was an easy fix. I just swapped the plugs inside, but I had already basically reassembled everything to test it out. A bit of a pain to get it back together, but you know what? It really wasn't all that bad. Yeah, so that's what I've done to the bike so far. I really don't think there's anything else that I need to do to this bike. It's perfect as is at this point. We'll finish this off with some exhaust sound and a few little riding clips. Hey y'all, before we get on with the ride, I'd like to let you know that I'm very new to this and I'm learning as I go. So if you have any creative feedback or ideas about what you'd like to see in my upcoming videos, please let me know in the comments below. My goal is to create the best content I possibly can for y'all. If you like this video, please give it a like and maybe even subscribe. Anyway, on to the ride.